Damn. They gave Nature Boy life without the possibility of parole. Holy shit. Wow. Yo, welcome back to BrainFLoTv. Hey, listen. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you've never been here before. Let's get into the details of this. Some of you are late to the party, but I'll put you on game so everybody understands what's going on here. Not too long ago, on social media, you were able to see a man who called himself Nature Boy, who had a following, a group of people who would follow him to the ends of the earth. The last time I saw them, I believe they were like in Honduras, or they were in Guyana, somewhere in the jungle, and they were living off the land. And you know, I was wondering to myself, I was like, how does this man have all these beautiful young women living out in the bushes? Like, your mind control game, your pimping must be on point to precision, like the point of a needle, for you to be able to convince a young lady to leave her good, comfortable home where she has her own room and good parents and come live with you out in the bushes. I'm saying, I remember this happening, right? And then I realized that he had like multiple wives out there, and they all believed in the same thing, and they didn't mind sharing this one and then that one and this one. And I thought to myself, this is weird as shit. This is really weird, but what's gonna become of it? Now, my spidey senses went crazy when a video popped up of two beautiful sisters. They looked very young, and they were fighting on the beach. And he, Nature Boy, was egging on the fighting. He was like, yeah, and my two wives about to fight right now, because this one said something to this one, and this is how we settle it. And them girls really pounded out each other, man, like got bloody. And I was like, yo, what kind of madness is this? And which man would allow that, even if you are in a relationship where you are allowed to have multiple wives? I'm not judging. They do it in Africa and other places across the world, right? You have monogamy and you have polygamy. Some societies function under polygamy. So if that's what he was doing and he had sisters that were willing to go along with the polygamy thing, then fine. But you're going to have them fight each other, box it out, get bloody. And I remember one of them, the one that looked so young, when the fight was done, her eye was busted up big. And then he was telling her, like, it's all right, we'll heal from this and we'll move on, but we have a basic understanding now and a respect for each other. And I'm like, this guy is crazy. Well, fast forward to today. It says, cult leader Eligio Bishop, that's his real name. His real name is not Nature Boy. His real name is Eligio Bishop. Eligio Bishop, a cult leader, receives life sentence for rape, marks end of Carbon Nation. That's the name of his outfit, his group that followed him so loyally. Carbon Nation. Eligio Bishop, known as Nature Boy, the leader of Carbon Nation, has been sentenced to life without parole for rape, among other charges, highlighting severe exploitation within his cult that he led. It has now been classified as a cult. He's saying it's not a cult, it's a tribe. The law says it's a cult, right? And that's a discrepancy there. Okay, this is the information for everybody to get on the same page. Eligio Bishop, famously known as Nature Boy and head of Carbon Nation, was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 10 years. Yo, when you get these kind of sentences, man, this is what you call a coffin sentence. You're essentially buried alive, right? Life without the possibility of parole just means that there's no possible way you could even parole out of prison. So the only way you're coming out is dead. But just in case you're not sure, we'll add an extra 10 to that. So you'll have to die and then come back and do 10 years before you can get out. And of course, a lot of people are like, damn. You know, especially in the black community, people are like, I mean, punish him, but geez, life without parole. There's people out here who murdered people viciously and they got 50, 60 years. Y'all could have gave him 30, 40, 50 years. Whatever. He didn't kill anybody. So how did he end up with life without the possibility of parole plus 10 years? Well, let's get into the details. Following his conviction on charges of rape, among other charges, he was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole plus 10 years. This verdict comes after a harrowing trial that shed light on the disturbing dynamics within the cult, highlighting severe exploitation and abuse suffered by the members of his cult at his hands. He was over there doing things to them. He was whooping ass. He was taking sex whenever he wanted it. That's according to what the court says. All right, so he was arrested on April of 2022, right? Bishop's legal journey culminated in a damaging indictment by a grand jury 3 months later after his arrest, which led to his recent sentencing. Now, throughout the trial, former members of the Carbon Nation came forward, sharing their distressing testimonies, stories about their experiences and their horrifying reality that they experienced at the hands of him. So it wasn't like people weren't talking, and it wasn't like the law was guessing. People came forward to tell. One former member initially joined the cult under the belief of finding a spiritual haven, because that's how it was presented, and that's what this person thought it was, describing the group as a sex cult. She said, and I know it's a she, I think I know who it is too. It's the same person. She disappeared offline. She was online, and then she just disappeared once he got arrested. Now, I don't know if she went into witness protection. I don't know if some of you out there might know who I'm talking about and you follow her. She looks a bit Hispanic, or she looks biracial, between black and white, whatever. But she has children as well. And I believe he is the father of those children, right? So she's got a lot to deal with. Now, the father of your children gets life without the possibility of parole, did some horrible things to you, lured you into a sex cult, and now you have to see these children bear his resemblance and raise these children with love, because they're your children, right? Right. A reminder of the worst time of your life ever. Anyhow, members of his group, Carbon Nation, came forward. They got in court. They took a stand. They testified about the horrible things that happened and said that, yo, we were under the impression that this was about spiritual enlightenment. And next thing we knew, we found ourselves in the middle of a sex cult, manipulated by Bishop, coerced and controlled by him. This narrative was consistently echoed by one after another, painting a grim picture of life within that cult. Now, the trial punctuated Bishop's lack of remorse, as noted by the presiding judge. He didn't seem like it bothered him. He didn't seem like he cared much. I don't think he thought it was possible for him to get life without the possibility of parole, though. The presiding judge ultimately said, yo, he has no remorse whatsoever. Ultimately resulted in a life sentence without parole plus an additional 10 years. This sentencing not only reflects the severity of his crimes, but also serves as a precedent for similar cases. That means anybody who's out there, think about you're forming your own tribe, and you're taking people off into the woods and into the bushes to go live, when all you really want to do is have 2, 3, 4, 5 wives so you can have sex with multiple females and do all kinds of sex acts in front of children and all kinds. He said it on video, right? He said he was having sex with one of his wives while she was trying to breastfeed the baby and the other children were standing there. So that's like, ugh. The judge remarks, underscores Bishop's manipulative nature, labeling him as a master manipulator and a narcissist. This is the classic case of a narcissist. Witnesses, in a poignant display of resilience, express their beliefs or their relief and a sense of justice being served, despite acknowledging the irreplaceable years that they had lost being with him in this group. You know, I'm glad that they came away with their lives, though. But they'll have to pick up the pieces and carry on. Now, this case sheds light, though, on a dark underbelly of cult dynamics and the devastating impact of charismatic leadership gone awry. Bishop's sentencing marks a significant moment of closure for many of his victims, offering a semblance of justice and hope for recovery. Furthermore, it raises critical questions about the mechanisms of control and abuse under the guise of spiritual guidance, urging societal reflection on the vulnerabilities that lead individuals into such exploitive situations. Now, after this chapter is closed on Carbon Nation, the dialogue should be opened on cultism, on abuse, and the path to healing remains essential. Shout out to BNNBreaking.com for putting this article together for us, just so there's no plagiarism. It's nicely put. But end of the day, what I think Nature Boy was able to do, Nature Boy was able to prey on those who were lost. You know, especially, I don't know too much about the guys that were in the group, like the other guys that were in the group, but I used to see the females, the women, and they would bond together. And I do believe that multiple of those women in that group have children for him. So he was like making babies with pretty much all of the girls that were there, right? Or a good handful of the girls that were there. Now, those children, they'll never have a daddy because their dad is doing life in prison without the possibility of parole plus 10 years for what he did to their mom. And I'm absolutely sure that the baby moms who I spoke about is one of them that came and testified, because she was very adamant. See, after she ran away or got away from, she ran away from the cult, she escaped. And after she escaped, she went back home. And I remember her father being present in her life. And I remember her and her dad hugging and talking to each other. And you know, he was saying how much he loved his daughter and he missed her. And he doesn't know why she even made that transition, because she's raised in a Christian home. And I guess she was just searching for spiritual enlightenment. And Nature Boy came across so good with it that there's more to life than religion. There's more to life than the Christianity you believe in. There's more to life than whatever. Come with me. Let me take you away. Let me show you pure life, right? Living in bliss and awe. And she was young and he's handsome and charismatic and she fell for it. You know, I mean, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. She obviously fell for it like others did. And before she knew it, she was sitting in a sister circle somewhere out in the jungle. Ooh, ah, under the sun, staring, gazing at the sun and doing all kinds of stuff during the daytime, catching water from the stream, you know, while fighting bug bites in the bushes. I don't know, man. He did what he did. He did what he did. The question, though, of the day is, did he deserve life in prison without the possibility of parole? I don't know. I wasn't a victim of his cult, so I don't know the intricate details of what he did. But I do know what I saw. And what I saw was ass whoopings. And what I saw was exploitation. And what I saw was, like, he would have videos, and they would sit with him, and he would try to speak to us like the public. And these young ladies would try to get a word or two in. And you know, I don't know if you came up with how I came up, but my parents, especially my grandmother, she'll give you that look in public. She wouldn't just say in public, I'm going to beat your ass when we get to the house. She'll just give you a look. Like, oh, that's that. Oh, you acting up? Okay, wait till we get to the house. That kind of look. And the look said it. And he would control them with even just that look. Now, what surprised me was one time that girl, that female, that woman, young lady who I just spoke about, who was in the fight, got her eye busted up, swole like out to here. She went live on Instagram. And when she went live, the amount of women, sisters, black women, who were there to support her when she went live, but they weren't supporting her as in, run girl, run for your freedom, find help, don't return. They were supporting her because she was in a place of confusion. She was like, even though I know that it's bad, part of me still wants to return because these are his children, you know, and I have his children and we shared these babies and a spiritual bond when these babies were made. And there were so many sisters on there trying to tell this young lady, girl or sister or whatever the words they were using to describe each other. They're like, return. Don't listen to the world. Block the world out. Return to what works for you. We're talking about your children. We're talking about their father. We're talking about the sacred bond that you share with that king. You know? And some of them, they didn't call him God, but they called him something close to God. Yeah. So it was that type of party over there. But to see how many women were actually not telling this young lady to run, get away. They were actually telling him, listen, actually, here we go. Eligio Bishop, the alleged cult leader known as Nature Boy, was arrested. Former member of the cult identified herself as his girlfriend. She said he posted revenge porn because she left him. So he was even having sex with these women and videotaping it and making them believe that him videotaping them in having intercourse was okay. You could imagine you having sex with somebody and there's somebody you really want to have sex with, and then boom, out of nowhere comes a camera and they're like, keep going. And you're like, whoa, hold up. I don't consent to this. Like, what are we doing here? Why are you videotaping us? You know, and he's like, it's all a part of it. You know, I love this and I'm going to use it just for us, for later on when we want to look back at it and get aroused by it and whatever. And then it goes out to the public, right? And I'm looking at her picture right now, and she is exactly the person I was talking about. So it is her. And she did go to court. And she did tell, I don't know if you can see my screen, but that is her with him. This is exactly the young lady I was talking about. So he posted revenge porn of her out to the public. That and several other details about the case of Bishop, which allegedly led to more than a dozen followers of the Carbon Nation cult, as well, spread their influence with a robust social media following. Tens of thousands of people followed him. So remember when I told y'all just now that I said she went live on social media on Instagram, and the amount of women who were telling her to go back to him. Stop listening to what outside people are saying. Wow. Now, according to the reports, the woman told the police that she had joined the sex cult in which her boyfriend is the leader, and she did not live together with Mr. Bishop, and he has posted sexually explicit videos of her and him without her consent. He posted them on Twitter. She actually left, and after she left, that was his get back. Oh, you gonna leave? Okay, I'm gonna show the world me fucking you. Hey, you sucking dick. Here, send the pictures out. It was crazy. She said that as he had posted 4 videos without her consent, she wants to press charges. Bishop, she added, had directed other women and girlfriends to hit her, beat on her, which led to her seeking to escape. So this is her, and this is exactly what I was talking about, where he was instructing them to fight, and she got her eye knotted up like they beat the brakes off of her. Wow. Under Georgia law, it's a violation to send nude or explicit communications of someone without the consent of that person, which can land you time in prison. Other women who have left the cult, including one woman who said she was his wife, have now said that they've been subjected to sexual coercion and abuse. He was over there having threesomes with all these women who he claimed to be his wife. He would lure them in and say, this is a polygamous affair, and I will share my wives, and I will share my time and myself with you. But then he would join all of them together. Everybody get naked. I'm about to go in on all three of y'all at once. And yeah, you're going to be kissing you. You come down here and do this. You turn this way so we can do that. And before they knew it, they were in the middle of an orgy, or in the middle of a threesome or a foursome, with him being the only guy. Right. Bishop's cult reportedly began as one that was centered around sexual and naturalist themes. Through social media accounts indicate more recently, it was reoriented around Bishop's own messianic self-image and black liberation messaging. The posts are heavy on the number 3, an ancient Egyptian iconography, with Bishop referred to as the 3 God in the accounts. His videos and sermons portray him as a godlike figure, and he said in one message after his arrest, "They want to crucify me. They want me dead. Their hate that surrounds me, you can feel it, just like any other prophet. Only me. I'm the return of the Christ." When he was arrested at a upscale cul-de-sac outside of Decatur, a SWAT team rolled in on him, converged on the home, broke down the door, and they first encountered several of his followers in that building, including children. There were 14 other people in the house with him when he was arrested on April 14th. And the list goes on and on. Several males and female were laying on the door, trying to stop the SWAT team from coming in. The suspects were given commands to crawl outside towards the members of the SWAT team, and he was placed in custody without incident. The remaining adult males were detained and also escorted outside the building. At that point, members were taken to the Criminal Investigation Division to be interviewed and to give them the opportunity to leave the residence if they so desired. Now, that's it. He is in prison. He's gotten life without the possibility of parole, plus 10 years. He's never coming out. Never. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. Do you think that life in prison without the possibility of parole is accurate for him? Or do you think that he only got that much time because he's a black man? And also, have you ever been caught up in any cult-like situations like this?